welcome to Profiletraders. This is Reza and you're listening to my market analysis for July the 24th. Previously, during my last analysis, market was trading very much so at an all-time high, and I told everybody to be extremely careful because if I was gonna add here very quickly a volume indicator, we were very much so at an all-time high with a phenomenal shrinkage in volume, which was making the fact of being able to continue higher extremely unlikely. Added to the fact that this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days almost in a row going up, as if every single thing that was hanging over our heads was fixed, which you and I know it is not. So finally, from that stage, it took a little bit of a breather. And as it took a little bit of a breather, now we can look into the details of the profile charts, and we can see that there is absolutely no rush to exit this market whatsoever. And after a very brief drop, both today and last night profiles went completely rotational. So now we are in a bracketed mode where it's either a pause for continuation down, or if we can reject back into 2115, we are going again for another attempt of the high. All I can tell you is that I personally have never, even in 2001 dot-com bubble, I have never ever seen such a greed and such an arrogance from the part of the market. And I know that it is mostly not individual traders, and it is a very scared, very desperate Federal Reserve and other central banks, which in my opinion, they know very well that they have completely lost control over things, and they know extremely well that they have created the mother, the father, the uncle, and the grandmother of all bubbles. And they also know that this bubble can burst at any given time, and once it's gonna burst at any given time, it is going to put 2007 and 2008 into its little pocket. And in order to avoid such a thing, billions upon billions upon billions of illegal printing money is fueled and injected into this market to make it going as long as it can. But for the time being, they are succeeding. For the time being, every time there is a crisis, every time there is a catastrophe, immediately as soon as it starts to come down, like a bunch of wounded hyena, they run and they print and they load the program buys of the Goldman Sachses of this world, and the buying orgy starts. But how long will this last? We shall see. As of right now, where we are at, we can make a scenario that it's either a pause for a big push down below 2100, or this was absolutely nothing. After all, who gives a rat damn Apple computer missed their numbers? they will come back and they will buy it again and take it again to all-time high. But for this to happen, no doubt that we need to clear this area of 2112 to 2115 and a half. And for a downside break, 2100. Now let's look at oil. $50 was a very important level. We came, tested, went up, came, tested, held. This morning again, came, tested, went up. And then after several attempts to get away from 50 and rotating a whole bunch during the day, we got a double bottom. They tried to bring it up, but as they tried to bring it up, they were unable to push through $50 again. And after that, when it came down and broke the low, obviously every single one that was going long right around 50 support got cut, and their liquidation created a massive run on the downside. So now we are also in a very distressful mode, because we did break below the 50 bucks. However, let's not now forget that this is not a young move down. This is a move that has been initiated from $62 to now $49, and it's almost also touching an important support line here. So if by tomorrow we come in and there hasn't been massive liquidation on the downside, then we should expect a potential bounce coming in. You know what is so funny? I'll tell you what is so funny. You have all these bozos that come on TV and they talk based on supply and demand. $50 a barrel is expensive. Now with Iran having his butt kissed by the Hussein in the White House, they are going to be able to inject 4 more billion barrels a day. And there is all this discussion about supply and demand and what is expensive, what is so cheap. Let me ask you this. When on earth a video renter by the name of Netflix, stock splitted, pre-adjusted, trading at almost 700 bucks a paper, is going to be too expensive? When is that little airline hotel seller Priceline trading at $1,235 is going to be expensive? When is going to be that Amazon at $489, not a single penny of profit generated since the day that they opened their doors, is going to be expensive? At what price Google at $662 a share is going to be expensive? Or at what price Facebook or Shitface at $97 a paper is going to be expensive? So you see the hypocrisy, right? There is this discussion and this analysis of what is so expensive for a real commodity such as oil that we would all go to the dark ages if we don't use, as when it's too expensive and it should go down. But we never ever hear anything about when enough is enough for a paper to be too expensive. I guess never, right? I guess a paper should go to unlimited high. But these commodities, well, supply and demand, it's too expensive. So whatever. This thing on the downside now is wide open for further drop. If we don't drop further from here, because we are at support and because we have already dropped a whole bunch, a bounce is due. For anything substantial to happen on the upside, we need to bring price back above 49.70, which would be a rejection into the rotation of today. If we do that, we could then rotate back up to today's high. We remain below 49.70. This is wide open for further drop. How much are they gonna massacre it, or how much they're not gonna massacre it? That I wish I knew. But all I know is that every of these real commodities, gold, oil, grains, etc., they're under destruction. And the only thing that you can't even discuss about if it's overvalued or not are the piece of crap papers from these crooked companies. Now let's look at gold. Further massacre, further destruction, where we came and retested the night where this mysterious scumbag sold $2 billion worth of gold without even caring of how much it was gonna make price go down before executing his order. Now we tested that area. We have a triple bottom here, retest, one bottom, two bottom, three bottom. Anything positive again to happen here, it needs to reject back above 1097. If we clear back up above 1097, we are going to reach 1104, and past 1104, the next level of importance in terms of resistance is 1118. Keep in mind that this is getting, in my humble opinion, close to an extremely important bottom. And everything, when its price becomes too cheap, its consumption and its demand goes up. As a result, price goes back up again. When crude was at $44 and I was driving around, every SUV owner, F50, F250, F350 trucks, they were pushing on the gas, making those puppies fly on the road, not even caring a bit about the price of oil. What happened? Excessive demand due to excessively cheap price made it go back up to 64. And now we are reaching a level where this is becoming so damn dirt cheap that people are gonna start to accumulate some. And in my opinion, they're not doing the wrong thing. I give you my word that sooner or later, this excessive, this illegal counterfeiting of currencies by central banks will be punished. If you believe that we have printed and printed and printed and wasted and gambled money that we don't have, and there will be no reaction to it, you get something completely wrong. It's the law of action, reaction. And when that day will come, well, people would wish that they bought gold when it was dirt cheap. So far, of course, it's not showing any sign of life. But remember, when the house $1 million was selling for $250,000 at the bottom of the crisis, when nobody would want to touch a house, when if you would go tell your friend, come and buy a house, you can buy it now $0.25 on a dollar, he would slap your face. That's usually where bottoms are put in. When an instrument becomes so hated, so negative, so much in distress, that's the time that you need to grab your nose, not smell the stench, and buy some. And this is getting very, very close to this, to the level where I fear that there has been enough puking that it's starting to become very, very interesting in terms of its valuation, considering the fact that the cost of extraction alone for the price of gold is $12.50. So we are about $150 below price of extraction. But Maybe the end is not yet put in. We must see. So far I can see that 3 times this bottom has been holding, and if we cannot bring in more distressed sellers, it's very much so time for a possible bounce. This was Reza with Profile Traders. Thank you for listening and have a great evening.